So after my last intro of people who I'm not, you guys have taken it upon yourselves, like it's some sort of challenge, to find some other people that I show some sort of vague resemblance to. So for those of you that missed all the comments that make me cry myself to sleep at night, here's an extended list of people who I'm not. Ed Helms, a tall Warwick Davis, Stevie Ritchie from The X Factor, the cricketer Graham Swan, the British actor Stephen White, a white version of Marvin from JLS, Scott Tracy from the Thunderbirds, who's actually a puppet, the decathlon athlete Dean Macy, the bloke who played as a defender for Leeds United Pontus Jansson, and finally a young Trevor McDonald. Word to your mother, my name's Dean Macy and this channel is Frags to Riches. Thank you for tuning in, I really appreciate it. I love each and every one of you in a kind of nice way, not a weird sort of, gropey, touchy way. It's halfway through 2019 and Big Beard B from the channel Big Beard Business recently shared his video showing his most worn fragrances for the year thus far. And I was in a hotel when I watched it and it kind of got me thinking about what mine were, and when I got back home I started looking at my bottles and seeing which ones I'd worn the most. And some are fairly obvious and some are mildly different and interesting, so I thought I'd kind of jump on the back of his video and do the same thing. I hope that's cool and nobody kind of takes offence or thinks I'm copying, because, well, I am copying, that's just ipso facto, but hopefully you don't mind and it's a nice idea and you think that's cool. So anyway, here's my list of my top 5 most worn fragrances in 2019 thus far. So in at number 5 is a fragrance house that is my favourite house. A lot of you know this already. It is the House of Bulgari, and that fragrance is Manwood Essence. As you can see, I've rinsed the hell out of this bottle because I only bought this in January or February this year. So I've made a really big dent in this bottle now. And the reason is I just really like this scent. It's, stating the obvious. But to me, this is signature scent worthy. It's very kind of safe, but I like it. It's my kind of scent because it's kind of woody, manly, but kind of got some sweetness in it. So at the top you've got some citruses and citrus with sugar, so it's not very tart. It's not like a real fresh kind of tart, sharp citrus. It's kind of really softened up with those kind of sugars, so it's quite a sort of sweet opening. In the mids there's some vetiver and some cedar. In the base there's some benzoin. There's some cypress as well in the mid, I think, as well, which is a coniferous tree, and that sort of gives it kind of like a piney kind of scent to me. But basically the overall effect is a slightly woody. It's not as woody as you would think, considering it's called wood essence, but you do get some kind of woodiness to it. But it's kind of just presented in this kind of mildly fresh but quite sort of sweet, easy to wear kind of package. It's signature scent worthy, and for that reason, that kind of sweetness I sort of really enjoy. And yeah, that's the reason why I've just worn this quite a lot. It wears relatively close, but I actually get quite good longevity out of this. It's an EDP and it wears like one. And yeah, as I say, I just really enjoy it. It's just a signature scent worthy scent. I've worn this kind of at the weekends, during the office, kind of at work, in meetings, and it's just a really nice scent. It doesn't get the love it deserves in my mind. In at number 4 is another fairly safe fragrance for work. It is Coach Platinum for Men. Now, I'm not sure if you can kind of catch the light in this bottle, but I've used about 1/3 of this fragrance. And again, I only bought this in about January, February this year, so I've rinsed the hell out of this. And the reason is I just, again, really enjoy wearing it. It's very easy to wear. The easiest way to kind of quickly describe this is to quote Dallas from Chaos Fragrances when he said this is like a creamier Sauvage. And that is kind of the sort of easiest, shortest, crudest way of kind of describing this. It probably doesn't do the fragrance justice, but it's not untrue. It is got that kind of ambroxan-like effect, which it gets from the cashmerean in this case, but it's kind of got that same kind of vibe going on. The opening is really delightfully fruity, but it doesn't kind of last too long. But as it dries down, it kind of goes into that cashmerean kind of, which gives it an ambroxan-like effect. But then the vanilla kicks in and it gives it this kind of creamy edge to it. So it's just, again, fairly safe and easy to wear. And it's a fragrance that I really enjoy. I just keep smelling it and I just find it sort of it just lures me in. I just keep smelling it and then kind of going back for more. So that's probably why I've just worn a lot of it. Performance isn't brilliant, so that's probably also why I've made a big dent in the bottle, because I do actually have a travel atomizer of this as well. So I have filled up kind of little atomizer, and I've been through that a couple of times. So yeah, that's probably why I've made a big dent. But yeah, I just really enjoy this fragrance, and I think, you know, it deserves a little bit more love. In at number 3 is another fragrance from my favorite house, Bulgari. It is Man Black Cologne. Now, you're not going to be able to see through this bottle because it is a solid bottle, which is really frustrating because, you know, I need to know how much I've got left of this because I fucking love this fragrance. It was in my top 10 fragrances for life. I really enjoyed it. Now, this is a fragrance that is a prime example of the fact that fragrances are subjective. Frag boy Stewie hated this fragrance, absolutely trashed it. Carlos at Brooklyn Fragrance Lovers went to smell it and said it wasn't bottle worthy, where I actually blind bought this and I fell in love with it. To me, this is like a spring version of Man in Black. Man in Black is almost a bit too sweet and a bit too sort of rich for me. With this, it's got that same boozy rum note with some florals, but it's kind of got some citruses in there again, which aren't too tart, but they just kind of give it this freshness. So you can rock this in spring and summer. But basically, it's just a really appealing, really nice scent. My wife really enjoys this, and I've rinsed the hell out of it. I've worn it many times, but I do have to go super heavy because the performance is not great. So I have, again, got a travel atomizer of this, which I've been through, and I've just rinsed the hell out of this just because it's so nice, but the performance isn't great. So I go super, super heavy. I spray hair, I spray clothes, and I've never choked anybody out. I wore this on a night out with some guys in the UK for a FRAG30 event, and they kept all complimenting me. So that's kind of credit where credit's due. So yeah, I urge you to check out Bulgari's Man Black Cologne. Woo woo, boring alerts. That's so shit. In at number 2, it is Bleu de Chanel. What more do I need to say? As you can see, I've made a big dent in this bottle. I love this scent. It's just a scent that makes me feel really good. You all know it, so I don't really need to say much about it, but it is a great done reach. But for me, this is also like a chosen reach. I often choose to wear this when I want to feel really good, if I'm going into important meetings, or if I'm just looking for complete versatility. And for me, I get great performance from the EDP as well. I get really good projection, really good longevity. So I've just got nothing to complain about. The next bottle I get of this, I will get the 150ml, I will get the bigger bottle because I know I will wear this. So yeah, I don't need to say any more really. Bleu de Chanel. In at number 1 is my first ever niche fragrance, and it's a fragrance that I absolutely love, and that fragrance is Byron Parfums The Chronic. You can see that I've not actually made as big a dent as some of the other bottles, but that's because this has crazy good performance. So you only need like 2 or 3 sprays of this and you're good. This will last all day and it projects. It is my best performing fragrance by far, I would say. And that's probably one of the main reasons why I keep reaching for this. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love this fragrance, absolutely love this. But it's got some versatility, but that killer performance means if I'm ever going out for the day, like at the weekends, and I want something that will last, boom, this is what I reach for. If I'm ever looking for performance, this is the one. And then quite often I just reach for it as well because I love the fragrance. And that's why this is my number 1 most worn fragrance this year. I would say I've worn this at least once a week since I bought it. It is in my constant rotation. It's at the front of my shelf. Absolutely love this. For those of you that don't know much about it, it's got some sweetness to it, which I don't really know where that comes from. I don't know if it's the sandalwood, but it's sandalwood and musk, basically. It kind of opens up quite sweet, almost bubblegummy, but that sort of does kind of die down. So I like the opening, but I love the dry down. It then dries down into a kind of a sweet sandalwood and musk. And it's just really appealing, really versatile, and a killer performance. It's just a fragrance I love, and I'm so chuffed to own this bottle, and I will buy more. So yeah, easily my number 1 most worn fragrance this year, that is Byron Parfums The Chronic. So I hope that video was mildly interesting or kind of gave you some ideas. Hopefully you might want to go out and smell some of the ones that you've not smelled before. As I say, I hope you don't mind that this was inspired by another fragrance reviewer. You know, that's just kind of sharing the love, and mimicry is the best form of flattery, I always say.
Yeah, nice jacket. Whatever, it's a bit like mine. What makes yours? Armani. Expensive. And yours?
Sergio Giorgini.
So thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed it, if it's given you some ideas, please kind of like, comment and subscribe. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. It's helping me kind of grow and move on to the next 1,000 subscribers. So I do love each and every one of you for subscribing. You are all awesome. Thanks again for watching. I will see you for the next one, and nothing more to say but much love.